Hey there guys, and happy whatever day it is that you're watching this video. So today's coffee, and I've forgotten the bag, so I will get that for when we start properly. I've got a great coffee here, that's got really good information about it as well, and a little bit of a decent backstory. And it's from a place that I've not tried before, which is the Roasting Shed, and they're based in London. Like a lot of coffee roasters in the UK. But as I say, it's one I've not tried before, so I was really excited about it. And I can't wait to share it with you guys and share all the wonderful things about it. So grab yourselves a coffee, kick back, relax, and welcome to Today I Brewed. So, the bag is here now. We are all set. So now you're going to hear me talk about this coffee for the next 10 or so minutes. So I hope you're ready. And it's a wonderful coffee. And I've made quite a few notes for this one. Because, as Winnie the Pooh would say, I am a bear of very little brain and cannot remember all the information that was on it. And got to refer to my notepad, like I do in pretty much every video. So, as I say, I've never tried this roaster before, and I did also get a bag of their decaf for work, and it was phenomenal. And it got me really hyped up for kind of brewing this one and sharing it with you guys. So, why don't we talk about the coffee, and I can just throw all my excitement at you. So get ready, because this is going to be a rant. A very positive one though, a very good rant. So, the coffee is called Gisanga. And I'm going to probably mispronounce all these names, but that's fine. It's okay, I do it all the time. And it's from a region in Ruhango, in Rwanda. And I don't drink a lot of Rwandan coffees, and it's something I want to do more of. So this was a very good kind of reintroduction into Rwandan coffee. The variety is a red bourbon, which everyone knows by now. I really dig the bourbon variety of coffee. And this is just juicy to the max. And it's a single variety. So would they in the wine world call it a varietal? Conversation for another day. It's a washed coffee, and it's grown at an altitude between 1650 and 1800 meters above sea level. The cup score, I believe, if I'm to believe the website, is 87 or plus, which is a good score. And I'm down. Totally down for that. The tasting notes of the coffee are honeydew, elderflower, and blackcurrant. And as I'm sat here, I can get the aroma of those just wafting into my nose. So what a nice way to talk about it while the aromas are in my nose. Now, the coffee here is what I first thought was UTZ certified. But after doing a little research, I believe it's UTZ, I think. Which means good in the Mayan language. And this means that the coffee is produced in a way that is both sustainable and environmentally responsible. Which I think most coffees are getting towards that goal nowadays anyway. It's certainly something that I think people look for when they are buying coffees, from suppliers or just in local shops. But it's quite hard to get UTZ certified. And here's why. So, you need good farming practice, which means efficient water use, managing the waste and pollutants, and also maintaining good soil health, which seems like a no-brainer in the agricultural world. You want to keep the soil as healthy as possible while putting out less bad stuff than you're producing good stuff, I think. They also need good working conditions, which means that there's fair wages for all the employees, there's education involved, and there's healthcare, which is obviously good. I think at this point in the industry, those things are pretty normalised. The education and healthcare, I'm sure, have been there for a while, but perhaps now it's more important than ever. Well, it should be. You want to take care of your workers and you want to make sure they're educated as well. The next one is environmental protection, which means promoting biodiversity, minimizing harmful chemicals. And the squiggles I've written have kind of traced off, but I think that is what it says. And then the last and most important one is traceability. There needs to be a record of where the coffee's come from so people can locate it and check it out, We kind of don't want to go back to that time where we couldn't identify where coffee had come from and didn't have all the information that we have now. But that's not all. Here is more information for you. So the coffee is actually produced by the Kawapambu Cooperative, or Kawapambu, I'm guessing is how you pronounce it. And it's a cooperative of about 850 farmers. In each season, they produce about 650 tons of cherries. Now that is a lot. Like a ton is a lot, but 650 tons is insane. Which, I know coffee producers produce that a lot, but when you see the numbers, it's just, I can't even imagine how that actually looks. Now the coffee is handpicked by the farmers and it's delivered to the cooperative for processing by either hand or bicycle, except for in the kind of busier part of the season when they use trucks. And the cool thing is, the coffee that kind of then sells it on, which I think is tropic coffee, actually pays the workers extra for the excess stuff that they use to get the coffee there, which is awesome. It's kind of like expenses. And who doesn't want to be paid for the extra effort they use to get to work? Now, Gisanga, I think I've got this right, is a region between Rwanda and Burundi that sits on the Congo-Nile divide. And apparently it's a beautiful region. The pictures on the website suggest it's an amazing place to be if you want to look at nice stuff and grow nice coffee. But what's really cool about the washed process itself is that the water they use to wash the coffee with comes from what they call the Teresa's natural spring. And this is because the spring itself was used by Teresa's family when they moved there. I think it might be earlier than the 1980s, but the website says 1980, so I'm going to go there. And the family used it to process their own coffee using home processing methods. It doesn't quite say what they are, but you know, it sounds cool. Sounds awesome, in fact. And what's really cool about both the cooperative and I believe Tropic Coffee itself is they really help promote women farmers in coffee, which is fantastic. And they also only produce coffees, I think, that are 87 plus in score, which is why I'm going to assume that this coffee is 87 or higher than 87. Was that enough information for you? Let's hope so, because I don't have any more. I think that's everything. So let's kind of talk about the brew. Let's talk about how we got to here, because that's always the fun bit, I think. So bourbons are aromatic, and I mean like juicy aromatic. And grinding this was an absolute treat. It was wonderful. And even now, as I'm smelling the aromas come out, as it was when it was grinding, there was a massive hit of blackcurrant and the elderflower. Like real juicy, vibrant stuff. Not so much honeydew in the ground, but that's fine. I'm not upset by that. But it was an amazing grinding experience, like most coffees that I've ground have been. And again, it got me super excited for the brew, because I was like, if it smells this good while it's grinding, it must smell better while I'm brewing it. And it did. It was wonderful. And you can kind of see how nice it looks while it's brewing. And I gave it the old usual WDT while it was wet. And the aromas there were just ecstatic. It made me feel that way, at least. Super vibrant, so like fresh, so there, you know. And again, I didn't get much of the honeydew, but I think it was there, like just subtly underneath. But there's definitely much more blackcurrant, much more elderflower in the aroma as it was brewing. And it brewed in about 4 minutes 30, which is one of the quicker brews I've got on this coffee. Which I'm not complaining about, because it still tasted nice while it came out a bit slower. But this one came out at 4:30. So now that it's here, and I have talked at you for long enough, why don't we try it? Why don't we give it a smell and then drink it? So there is so much elderflower in that brew. Juicy, juicy blackcurrant. And there is a hint of the honeydew. It's almost got like a real smooth juiciness to the aroma. Oof. Clean. Really clean, in fact. Loads of blackcurrant. Touches of the elderflower, but like decent touches. And the feel of it, despite it being really clean, kind of reminds me of like a thinner honeydew melon. It's got a lovely acidity coming in there as well, just tipping on the tongue. And it rolls around the mouth beautifully. Now that is an excellent cup of coffee. Excellent coffee in general. I can't take credit for it all because I only do the last bit. So it's testament to the people who produced it rather than me grinding and brewing it. But before we finish, as we have been doing, now, it may not be the most colourful back that I've shown previously, but I still dig like the minimalist aesthetic. Like the logo's dope. I love the colour on the label, and the nice kind of simple white bag is like, yeah man, I could have that just on display in my house. I could have it behind me for the next video. But yeah, amazing. So, in my first experience of the roasting shed, I'm wonderfully amazed. I would say surprised, but that would indicate that I assumed the coffee was going to be bad. And it isn't. It's fantastic. Wonderful. So I will definitely order from them again. So, I'm going to enjoy... Oof, a little bit of a hiccup. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this coffee. And I recommend that you guys enjoy some too. It is still currently on the website at the time of doing this video, but who knows whether it will be tomorrow. But get yourself some if you can, because it's wonderful. So if you've not got yourselves a coffee yet, go get yourselves one, and then kick back, relax, and most importantly, thank you for joining me on today's Today I Brewed.